I said, listen, there's a below 1% chance, likelihood of it being genuine. You know, Diamond, we say in Chinese. That's what it felt like. We were able to get the piece with an extremely conservative estimate of 50 million Hong Kong dollars. Well, it was about 4 or 5 months ago, my colleague Rio Hirano, who is our specialist in Japan, showed me in Hong Kong pictures of this vase. He said, listen, this piece is in my client's hands, what do you think? And so I looked at it. Obviously, immediately I recognized it as, you know, a piece similar to the most famous vase in auction history that was sold for £50 million at Bainbridge's in London. I said, listen, there's a below 1% chance, likelihood of it being genuine. But I must come and check it. Let's go and see it together. We arrived at the appointment. We took the piece out of the box, and it was so obviously what it's supposed to be. Just from the painting, from the carving, from the shape, the weight, the mark. So from every aspect, it was clearly what it's, you know, genuine, sort of, you know, Diamond, we say in Chinese. That's what it felt like. We dug out the photograph, black and white photograph of that Yamanaka catalog from 1905, and it was an absolute match with the vase we've got here. Yamanaka had presented it in America in 1905 in New York, an exhibition of, you know, various Chinese works of art. And it seems that Yamanaka sold it to the family of this collector back in 1924. Passed on in the family, yeah, since 1924. Pretty much everything is identical. Only, you know, the border that you see here at the shoulder, which is a sort of green, pale green ground here. On the vase that was sold in Bainbridge's, it's actually a gold ground. So there's a tiny difference here. And the marks are not identical, in fact. There is, on our vase here, the mark is in blue enamel, whereas the vase in Bainbridge's was in underglazed blue. In 1743, Tang Ying presented to the emperor 9 vases of this type, very complex reticulated pieces, because you can imagine how many must have broken, right, in the process. And the emperor apparently, according to the records, replies, listen, for those that come in single ones, please make pairs to match them. I think basically this piece and its counterpart that was sold in 2010 are pairs but made at a different time. So that explains slight differences in the mark. The main border here in the middle is an Eastern Zhou, harks back to Eastern Zhou bronzes. So you've got a strong sort of archaistic feel here. On the upper part here, it's very much inspired by sort of Rococo decorations that you'll find at the court of Louis XV in Europe at the time, with the sort of rocaille elements. You've got these sort of acanthus leaves are typical of decorations you would have seen in France. On the inside, you have an inner vase which is made of, you know, painted in blue and white with a composite floral scroll. You have the vase, the blue and white vase comes first, and the shoulder is built on top of it, and the outside will come last, to sort of enclosing it. These panels, I suspect, are sort of partly molded and then carved, finished. And it's an absolute pristine structural condition, not a crack, not a chip. On the base, there's a ring that looks slightly misfired. It may have to do, the positioning of that sort of misfired ring seems to correspond to the inner vase. So it might be the pressure of the vase at the time of the firing, and it's sort of reflected on the base, but that's the only slight condition issue with it. We were able to get the piece with an extremely conservative estimate of 50 million Hong Kong dollars. So knowing, I think everyone remembers how much that piece in Bainbridge was hammered for, 43 million pounds. So I think we will see a huge auction battle